thank you so much for joining us. We have another power-packed podcast for you today, and have a really phenomenal woman, a woman of God. She's amazing. She's a broadcaster. She's a communicator. She's a master trainer. But I'm going to let her tell you more about herself. She is Doris McMillon. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Sade. Thanks for inviting me to be on your program. It's an honor.
So can you just tell us a little bit more? I mean, I just mentioned a few things, but you're so much more than that. I mean, we don't even have enough time to talk about all the accomplishments and just all the people that you've helped. But if you could just share with us a little bit more about who you are, and just let us know.
Well, I always tell people I'm an accidental entrepreneur. My profession has been a broadcast journalist, and I started in 1973 in radio, and then I moved to television, and that was what I did on a daily basis up until 1986. And being in the news business is a lot like being an athlete. There are times you may get cut. Don't take it personally. And I found myself in business. And so what did business look like to me? Well, all of the skills that I'd learned as a journalist, as a talk show host, weather forecaster, sports caster, talk show host, all of those jobs prepared me to do the work that I started to do, which was video productions, and it also gave me an opportunity to do some acting, which I really enjoyed. I always told my mother I was going to be a famous actress, and she said, honey, get a real job. Anybody can act. So that's how I got into television news.
Wow.
But still got an opportunity to pursue my dreams, which was to do some acting. So I've done a lot of video productions. I've been on-camera narrator, voiceover talent, on-camera actress. And now one of the things I get a chance to do a lot of is to coach other people. My primary focus these days is working with people who have to be interviewed by the news media. I mean, what better person to teach that than me? I was the news media.
Wow.
And when I show up on your door, you have to look at me differently. So now I teach people how to, give the best interview, how to put their best self forward. I also coach people who have to make presentations, whether it's before one person or 1,000 people. You have to be comfortable and confident and concise and clear, all those C's. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. I guess I was born with the gift of gab, and what I did, what I discovered throughout my career was how to harness any butterflies, have to put them in formation, how not to be nervous. And what I found, Sade, is that when people are talking about what they know, what they love, what they're passionate about, that's when they're real successful speakers. I love helping other people and giving information. So I read a lot, and that's another thing I tell people to do. You have got to read. My former pastor used to say, if you want to keep something from people, put it in a book. They won't read it. And so it's important to be well-read, well-rounded, and passionate about what you want to talk about.
So what you're saying is that these things can be learned. I mean, lots of people think that, oh, well, it's not me, or, they may be going on a job interview and not feel confident, even though they may know the job or it may have the particular skill sets. I guess, what would you tell that person? Would it be practice? I mean, what can they do?
Well, first of all, preparation is key. I mean, if you're going to sell yourself, you've got to put that package together. And I deal with three things in my training: how you look, how you sound, and what you say. 55% of how people are going to perceive you is going to be based on how you look. So you've got to kick it up. A lot of folks are out here in the job market today. Some are the folks that are just graduating from college looking for new jobs. Others are on the other end of the spectrum. They're thinking about retirement, but they haven't, put aside enough money. They haven't saved enough. And so they find that they have to work. Well, I work with an organization called CareerConfidence.org, and it's some recruiters who put together an organization to help people prepare to get back into the job market. And so one of the things I'm looking at when I go there is I look at folks who are, they've been out of a job, they lost their job some time ago, maybe a year ago, or maybe even 2 years, and they look defeated and discouraged and depressed, and I get all that. But you know what? When you show up for an interview, it's showtime. So you've got to put your best self on. Is it an act? Absolutely.
Okay.
So you need to be able to play the part. So in terms of the how you look part, you've got to get a new haircut, put on some makeup, buy a dress that's current, not a faddish dress, but something that's professional. These are just the basic things. Look refreshed, get a good night's rest, and prepare.
Now, you mentioned something really interesting, because I think some people feel like, well, that's not me. I want to be myself. But, I joke sometimes and say, well, sometimes life seems like it's a performance, So what would you do, or how would you, share with someone that they need to go in and, as you mentioned, play the part, if you will?
Well, I would say look in the mirror and say, would you hire yourself?
Okay.
If you look like that.
Yeah.
People, one of the reasons, it's just human nature. We are judging machines. Within the first 7 seconds of meeting you, people have 11 impressions that they've made of you. Wow. So you need to do what you need to do to fix it up. Excuse me, I'm dealing with allergies right now. It may sound superficial, and it is, but it's what's going to make you or break you.
Okay.
85% of your success is going to come from how well you are able to communicate. So work on your communication skills. Let's just do the basics. There are certain words that people mispronounce all the time. These are common words in our dictionary, and they mispronounce them.
Can you give us an example?
Let's just talk about going out to lunch.
Okay. You
want to have a salad with a piece of grilled salmon. Do you know how a lot of people pronounce it? Salmon. And I'm thinking, come on now. This was basic vocabulary. You pronounce it salmon. The L is silent. It's like subtle. Some people want to say subtle. The B is silent. So I would say let's ramp up our vocabulary. You don't have to know 50-cent words, but if you're going to use some words, you need to know how to pronounce them.
Okay.
Again, it's about reading. I teach a speech and clarity class, or speaking with clarity class, which involves a lot of diction, pronunciation, grammar. When I hear some young people out here today splitting verbs, they don't know how to conjugate the verb to be in the present, in the past tense. I'm thinking, what did they learn in school?
Wow.
So I say all these things not to criticize, but to bring awareness. And if they're not aware, they can't correct.
Yes.
So, you have to ask yourself, how do I do this? What do I need to do? And this is where talking to, getting a mentor or getting a coach will help you. But you must make an investment in yourself. If you're looking for the freebie all the time, I would say you're not interested in making an investment. If it's worth having, it's worth paying for.
That's really powerful. You mentioned how you transitioned from employment, so to speak, to having your own business. How important do you think those skill sets for you and for someone who may be transitioning, whether it be intentionally or unintentionally, transitioning from a career of employment to their own business? How important are these skills in terms of communication, how you look, etc.?
Well, you are your brand, Sade. As you know, you're the marketing guru. You are your brand. So they don't have anything else to look at the outset but you. You're just getting started. So you really have to come correct. The other part of what I talk about, how you look, how you sound, your tone of voice. People have no idea that their tone of voice will often keep them from getting moving a relationship to the next level. If they sound mean and bitter and angry and they're too loud, or they don't seem to understand that those things affect how people view you. I would tell my husband, honey, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that goes across the board in all of our relationships. And if people don't perceive you as being approachable, they're not going to want to do business with you.
Wow.
It's that simple. And then when you get down to what you say, which is the third leg on this stool, you only get seven seconds to really say anything of import. And what can you say in 7 seconds?
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that. And so what can you say about mindset? Because how can someone, I'm sure it may be difficult or challenging for someone who may not have practiced these things for forever or before. And so how important is the mindset? Like, I guess, when it comes to that important meeting, or when it comes to, whether they're going in their boss's office for promotion, or maybe it's a new client or some type of new project they're trying to acquire. How important is mindset? Like, what do you do? What do you tell yourself before these big events?
Well, first of all, I've asked myself some key questions. Am I prepared? Do I know to whom I will be speaking? What do I know about the organization? What do I know about the person? You've got to do your homework. And with the internet, we are without excuse, okay? And so then I look at myself. I look in the mirror. Please, ladies and gentlemen, look in the mirror before you walk out the door.
Okay.
Check the teeth. Make sure you don't have eye boogies. Make sure your outfit looks good. It's not too short, too tight, too low cut. And I speak to the women. And please leave the platform shoes that will cause you to have a nosebleed because they're so high. Leave those at home. They're not professional. And to the men, trim the nose hairs out of your nose and your ears, and fix up your fingernails. Look the part. Polish those shoes. There's nothing worse than seeing a man in a nice suit and then his shoes are all scuffed up, and the heels are, not in good shape, and there's no shine on that toe. Absolutely. So, these are just the basics. And then you have to talk to yourself. Zig Ziglar, who was a motivational speaker before he passed, used to say, the most important conversation you have every day is the one you have with yourself. You can torpedo your day before you get out of the bed.
Wow.
Because you have already chosen to speak to yourself in a negative manner. Stop that.
Yes.
You need to speak nicely to you. There's plenty of people out here in the world who will speak to you in a negative manner. You don't need to internalize other people's conversation. You need to say to you the good things.
Yes.
And you need to stop speaking fear to yourself, but you got to speak faith, which brings me to another point. I love the Lord Jesus Christ with all my heart, and I realize that the only reason I have the good success that I have is because of who He is in me. And so I'm not ashamed, and I make no bones about it. He's the best agent I've ever had.
Amen.
So that's why I say it's important, if you know the Lord, it's important that you say to yourself what He says about you. He died for you, right?
Amen.
So He loves you. So now I get a chance to preach, right?
Hey, that's right. That's what it's about, right?
But the bottom line, right, I'm going to be speaking next week to a group of entrepreneurs who are Christ followers. And I'll be talking to them about being a marketplace ambassador. People are watching us. We say, we are Christ followers. They're looking for something different. And we have it. We have the answer to whatever the problem is. And that person is Jesus Christ. He is the answer. And so when we go to our workplace, when we go to wherever it is that we're going, we have to make sure that we are a representative. I mean, if you look up the word ambassador, it's someone who represents their person in another country.
Yes.
And as Christ followers, we are foreigners. And so when we show up, wherever we show up, in our workplace, where we play and our meetings, we have to do different, be different, sound different, look different, because we are different. And so I encourage those of you who might be listening today that if you're feeling kind of hopeless, we have hope. If you are feeling down and you don't know where to turn, Jesus Christ is the answer. He's the only man who's ever, who ever died for you, who was buried and rose again, and he loves you, because you are special. He created you. And so if you're looking for hope and you don't know where to start with Jesus. He will affect everything that you do. He'll give you wisdom. He'll talk to you. When nobody else is there, he's there for you.
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Sade. Now
Amen.
we can take a collection.
Hey, absolutely. You got the plate?
Mm.
Or
no, I realize, Sade, that any success that I've had, I know from whence my success comes. And this is even when I didn't know the Lord. It wasn't until after I came to know him that I realized why I have any good success at all. And because he is merciful, he didn't give me what I deserved
Amen.
When I deserved it. And so I'm very grateful.
Wow, Doris, thank you so much. You have definitely given us some keys, not only to success, but you definitely have shared the reason that you are able to be successful, which is your relationship with our Lord Jesus Christ. And so we are very grateful. Thank you for spending time with us. And before we go, though, Doris, how can people get in contact with you? What's your website and all those kinds of things?
Well, you can reach me at McMillon Communications, that's with an S, .com, and McMillon is spelled McMillon. You go to my website, you can fill out a form. I always respond. I want to hear from you. I am in business to help you be the best that you can be, so please reach out so that I can help you. I look forward to it. They can reach me at 703-819-0920. But I'm serious about being the best that I can be, and if you decide that I can help you, it will be an investment that will pay off for a very long time.
Wow, that sounds good. So now just to make it clear, you help individuals and you also help companies and organizations.
Yes, I do. I do a lot of work in corporations, government agencies, nonprofits, and I work with folks one-on-one. I really prefer that. Not saying I solely prefer that, but I really enjoy working with people one-on-one to help them.
So individuals who may be considering voice acting, voiceovers, on camera work as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
now, I don't do demo reels. I have someone who does, who can do that, but
sure,
I can help you in the performance area.
That sounds good. That sounds good. So, guys, I knew that you would greatly benefit and be blessed from our guest today. Doris, again, thank you.